Armed with these two lists, you can begin searching for the best place to layer your new habits into your lifestyle. Habit stacking works best when the cue is lightly specific and immediately actionable. Many people select cues that are too vague. I made this mistake myself when I wanted to start a push up habit. My habit stack was when I take a break for lunch, I will do 10 push ups at first glance. This sounded reasonable, but soon I realized the trigger was unclear. Would I do my push up before I ate lunch? After I ate lunch, where would I do them? After a few inconsistent days, I changed my habit stack to when I close my laptop for lunch, I will do 10 push ups next to my desk. Ambiguity gone. Habits like read more or eat better and worthy causes, but these goals do not provide instruction on how and when to act. Be specific and clear. After I close the door, after I brush my teeth, after I sit down at the table. The specificity is important. The more tightly bound your new habit is to a specific cue, the better the odds are that you will notice when the time comes to act. The first law of behavior changes is to make it obvious. A strategy like implementation, intentions, and habit stacking are among the most practical ways to create obvious cues for your habits and designing a clear plan for when and where to take action. Anna Thorndike, a primary care physician at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, had a crazy idea. She believed she would improve the eating habits to thousands of hospital staff and visitors without changing their willpower or motivation in the silent way. In fact, she didn't plan on sticking to them at all. Thorndike and her colleagues designed a 6-month study to alter the choice architecture of the hospital's cafeteria. They started by changing how drinks were arranged in the room. Originally, the refrigerator located next to the cash register in the cafeteria were filled with only soda. The researchers add water as an option to each one. Additionally, they placed baskets of bottled water next to the food station throughout the room. Soda was still in the primary refrigerator, but water was now available at all drink locations. Over the next 3 months, the number of soda sales at the hospital dropped by 11.4%. Meanwhile, sales of bottled water increased by 25.8%. They made similar adjustments and saw similar results with the food in the cafeteria. Nobody had said a word to anyone eating there. People often choose products not because of what they are, but because of where they are. If I walk into the kitchen and see a plate of cookies on the counter, I'll pick up of a dozen and start eating, even if I didn't been thinking about them beforehand and didn't necessarily feel hungry. If the commonly table at the office is always filled with the documents and bagels, it's going to be here not to grab on every now and then. Your habits change depending on the room you are in and the cue in front of you. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. despite our unique personalities. Certain behaviors tend to arise again and again under certain environmental conditions. In Turin, people tend to talk in whispers. On a dark street, people act very and granted in this way. The most common form of changes is not internal but external. We are changed by the world around us. Every habit is context dependent. In 1936, psychologist Kurt Lewin wrote a simple equation that makes a powerful statement. Behavior is a function of the person in the environment or behave. It didn't take long for Levin's equation to be tested in business. In 1952, the economist Hawkins described a phenomenon he called suggestion impulse buying, which is triggered when a shopper sees a product for the first time and visualizes a need for it. In the in other words, customers will occasionally buy products not because they want them but because of how they are presented to them. For example, item at eye level they tend to be purchased more than those down near the floor. For this reason, you will find expense will find expensive branded name featured in easy to reach location on store shelves because they drive the most profit, while cheaper attract alternatives are tucked away in harder to reach spots.